we're trying to find ways of using two aquatic weeds that have become a problem in most of our rivers and lakes in Zambia. These two are the water hyacinth and hippo grass.
What we are trying to do in my project is we are trying to use resources, natural resources that we call a nuisance. So in this case, we are talking about aquatic weeds. So these are weeds that are found in the rivers in Zambia. So these weeds are really considered to be a nuisance because they've got a lot of negative impacts on the river. For example, they are killing fish. They are also blocking the waterway for the boats, and also they are also, clogging the turbines, the hydroelectric turbines. So the weeds that I'm talking about in particular is the water hyacinth, which is also called the kafua weed, commonly called the kafua weed. And next to the water hyacinth, we also have what we call hippo grass, or the scientific name is Vossia cuspidata. We were also asking the question to say if we actually added value to these weeds, would they perform better than in their raw form? So what you're seeing here, this is an experimental trial that we've been doing since December. So we have different treatments. So we have the raw weeds as they are, right, harvested from the river, and then they are crushed, and then they are used directly as fertilizer. We wanted to see how that is going to perform. But at the same time, we said, what if we add value to these weeds by making compost? If we compost these weeds with a few other materials to improve the conditions for the microbes, will the weeds actually perform better? And then we also said, what if we ferment? Instead of composting, we actually ferment the weeds and make what we call bokashi. So bokashi is a fermented compost, so it is made in anaerobic conditions. So we said, if we make bokashi out of these weeds, are they even going to perform better? So that is what we are comparing. We are comparing the raw weeds with the composted weeds and the fermented weeds. But we also have a treatment where we use the commercial fertilizer to see how the weeds are actually performing in comparison to the commercial fertilizer.
Efforts have been made in the past to try and find ways of removing them or reducing their presence in rivers, but there hasn't been much success. So when we looked at this problem, we tried to think of other ways of trying to solve this problem, and our approach was, wait a minute, these are plants and plants contain nutrients, and maybe why not try to get these plants, harvest them from the rivers, and convert them into some material that could be a source of nutrients for plants.
Why sorghum? Because sorghum is a crop that is drought resistant. So as you know, with the climate change that we are facing, so sorghum is actually a crop that is going to provide solutions for the future. So the sorghum is a crop that was already envisioned or already part of the project, even in the beginning of the project. And for me in particular, as a PhD student, I come in to improve the yield of sorghum using organic materials, in this case using the aquatic weeds.
That is a dry tolerant crop that is really that have property that enable this crop to be used in the future, like for example extensive roots, small area surface of leaf. For example, it's really like less important than those of maize, and also for this crop they are like on the leaves there are wax that helps to reduce the loss of water from evapotranspiration. So that kind of crop can really be like the future of like food for humanity.
The application that you can have for sorghum or millet is that you can use it as a malt. So for example, I think we've heard Zambian breweries, I think they have a malting plant and they're promoting the production of sorghum, which is used in beer production. I think they may probably be using for Eagle. But you can also use the same malt as a source of enzymes for munkoyo and chiwantu production, which replaces the use of the root, which is under threat. Now, you can also go further in the case that now we have this problem with maize, but also to diversify and produce new products which are sorghum based. We can make either a sorghum or millet, munkoyo or chiwantu, which can also be consumed, or blending the grain with maize to produce a type of mealie meal, which is a different blend. So sorghum tends to have more of a resistant starch, so the breakdown of that starch is slower. So it reduces having the huge peaks that you would get by consuming breakfast mealie meal, for example, for those that may be diabetic. Yeah, I'm sure the nutritionists will be able to give more information on that, but it's already a product that is important and that we are also looking to explore, considering these new developments in terms of as a response as well as a mitigation measure, so that maybe with that we can create more avenue for sorghum to be utilized in our diets.
On a farmer's field near Chongwe, we have installed 11 boreholes, 7 on a CA field and 7 on a conventional tillage. So we have installed sensors, we are monitoring since 2017. The farmer is just working the way he works normally as we are collecting data. So we have installed these boreholes, and then we have even a weather station to measure the weather parameters within that. So we want to see farmers' operation, tillage practices, how are they affecting groundwater table. So to do this, other than measuring the groundwater fluctuation, We are also scanning from the surface up to 20 meters. We have installed some gadgets which helps us to scan to see the wetness of the profile from the surface up to 20 meters. We are doing this every day since 2017.